The Stoic Mindset, How to Think Like a Roman Emperor. Section 1, The Opening, A Day in the Life of a Roman Emperor. The weight of an empire rests on his shoulders. The fate of millions depends on his decisions. Every morning, Marcus Aurelius wakes to face an unrelenting tide of challenges. Wars on the frontier, political conspiracies, the never-ending demands of governing Rome. His empire stretches across vast lands, from the deserts of North Africa to the cold reaches of Britain. Each day brings news of rebellions, economic crises, and the ever-present whispers of betrayal in the Senate. Most men would crumble under the weight of such responsibility. Even emperors before him, powerful rulers with wealth and armies at their command, had succumbed to paranoia, excess, and their own weaknesses. But Marcus Aurelius was different. He ruled not with fear, but with reason, not with indulgence, but with discipline. Yet, despite the chaos that surrounded him, he remained calm, composed, and in control. This wasn't a gift, it was a discipline. Marcus wasn't born with an unshakable mind. He trained it. Through years of practicing Stoicism, he developed a mindset that allowed him to withstand betrayal, hardship, and uncertainty without losing himself. Unlike the many rulers before him who sought to dominate others, Marcus knew that true power was mastery over oneself. He believed that external circumstances, wars, criticism, loss, were inevitable, but how he chose to respond was entirely within his control. But how did he do it? How can a man, surrounded by power and temptation, maintain such self-mastery? To understand, we need to step inside the mind of a Roman emperor and uncover the Stoic philosophy that shaped one of history's greatest leaders. Section 2, The Stoic Philosophy that Shaped Rome's Greatest Leaders. If you could step inside the mind of Marcus Aurelius, what would you find? Not the thoughts of a conqueror obsessed with power, nor the indulgences of a ruler distracted by luxury. Instead, you would see something rare, a mind trained to remain still in the face of chaos, a man who saw the world as it was, not as he wished it to be. Unlike many emperors before him, Marcus did not believe in ruling through force alone. He saw self-mastery as the foundation of leadership. He understood that a leader who cannot control himself cannot control an empire. And so every morning, before facing the demands of the day, he practiced a simple but profound exercise. He reminded himself that suffering, hardship, and betrayal were inevitable, but his reaction to them was his own choice. This was the heart of Stoic philosophy. At its core, Stoicism teaches one essential truth: we do not control the world, only our response to it. Emperors may command armies, pass laws, and dictate policy, but they cannot control fate. They cannot control the shifting tides of war, the whispers of betrayal, or even the certainty of their own mortality. The only thing within their power is their own mind, their own ability to remain steady no matter what unfolds around them. This was why Marcus trained himself to expect hardship rather than fear it. Where others saw obstacles, he saw opportunities to strengthen his character. Where others were ruled by their emotions, anger, envy, despair, he reminded himself that these feelings were fleeting and that a disciplined mind would always remain above them. He did not seek to eliminate pain or discomfort. He understood that suffering was part of life, but he also understood that suffering was not what destroyed men, it was their reaction to it. Weak men let pain consume them. Strong men let pain refine them. This ability to see beyond the moment, to refuse to be ruled by impulse or emotion, was what made Marcus Aurelius not just a great emperor, but a truly great man. And yet, this mindset wasn't something exclusive to emperors. It was a universal discipline, one that anyone, even in the modern world, could adopt. The question is, how do we train our minds to think this way? Section 3, Thinking Like a Stoic Emperor, the Key Mindset Shift. A Roman emperor held absolute power, the ability to command legions, reshape laws, and dictate the fate of an entire civilization. Yet despite this, Marcus Aurelius recognized a fundamental truth. Power over the world means nothing if you do not have power over yourself. Unlike many rulers before him, Marcus did not see strength in domination or control over others. Instead, he believed the greatest strength was the ability to master one's own thoughts, emotions, and impulses. True power, he realized, came not from ruling an empire, but from ruling one's own mind. This is where most people fail. We seek control over everything, our careers, our relationships, our reputations, yet we ignore the one thing that is fully within our grasp, our perspective. We allow external events to dictate our emotions, reacting impulsively to challenges, criticisms, and setbacks. We waste energy wishing the world were different, rather than adapting ourselves to reality. Marcus, however, trained himself to think differently. He developed a mental habit that allowed him to navigate uncertainty with unwavering focus. Whenever faced with hardship, betrayal, or misfortune, he asked himself a single question: is this within my control? If the answer was yes, he took action. If the answer was no, he let it go. This was the foundation of his Stoic mindset. He did not waste time complaining about things beyond his control, whether it was the ambitions of his rivals, the unpredictability of war, or the inescapable passage of time. He understood that his energy was better spent mastering his own mind than trying to control an uncontrollable world. But this wasn't passive acceptance, it was discipline. Rather than fearing failure, he prepared for it. Rather than hoping for life to be easy, he strengthened himself for adversity. He saw every challenge as a test, every setback as an opportunity to refine his character. His philosophy was not one of retreat, but of resilience. Most people spend their lives resisting reality, caught in a constant battle against things they cannot change. Marcus Aurelius understood that peace comes not from controlling the world, but from controlling how we perceive it. This is the key shift in thinking like a Stoic emperor. You cannot control external events, only your response to them. You cannot stop adversity, but you can use it to make yourself stronger. You cannot escape hardship, but you can train yourself to rise above it. This is how Marcus Aurelius endured war, political strife, and personal loss without ever breaking. This is why, centuries later, his wisdom still resonates. And it's why, even today, this mindset remains just as powerful as it was in ancient Rome. But how do we apply this philosophy in everyday life? In the next section, we'll break down exactly how you can take the principles of a Stoic emperor and turn them into a daily practice. Section 4, Applying the Stoic Mindset in Everyday Life. It's one thing to admire the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, to see the Stoic mindset as an ideal worth striving for. But how do we take these principles, developed in the palace of a Roman emperor, and apply them to our own lives? After all, most of us are not leading legions into battle or navigating political betrayals in the Senate. Yet in many ways, the struggles Marcus Aurelius faced mirror our modern challenges. The chaos of war has become the daily stress of life, deadlines, financial pressures, and personal responsibilities pulling us in every direction. The political intrigue of Rome has become workplace drama, social conflicts, and the constant noise of the internet. The temptations of power and excess have been replaced by endless distractions, fleeting pleasures, and the trap of comparison. Just as Marcus Aurelius trained his mind to remain steady in the face of these pressures, we too can develop the same mental discipline, but it requires practice. 1. Reframe every challenge as an opportunity. Marcus did not see hardship as something to avoid. He saw it as a tool for growth. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" he asked, "How can this make me stronger?" When life presents difficulties, whether it's a career setback, a failed relationship, or personal disappointment, train yourself to see it as a test of patience, of discipline, of resilience. Every challenge is a chance to refine yourself. 2. Master the art of detachment. The Stoic emperor understood that we suffer most when we cling to things beyond our control. He practiced a mindset of detachment, not in the sense of apathy, but in emotional discipline. If someone insults you, remember, their words do not control you, your reaction does. If you lose something valuable, remind yourself, you never truly owned it. Everything in life is borrowed. If a plan falls apart, ask yourself, was the outcome ever fully in your control? When you stop tying your happiness to external circumstances, you become unshakable. 3. Focus only on what you can control. Every day we waste energy worrying about things that we have no power to change, other people's opinions, world events, the uncertainty of the future. But Marcus Aurelius mastered the ability to let go of the uncontrollable and focus only on his own actions. Ask yourself this simple question throughout the day. Is this within my control? If yes, take action. If no, shift your focus to something that is. This practice alone will eliminate wasted mental energy, making you more productive, focused, and at peace with reality. 4. Accept, adapt, advance. The final lesson is one of acceptance, not passivity. Marcus understood that life is unpredictable. There will always be challenges, setbacks, and disappointments. But the Stoic does not resist reality. They embrace it, adapt, and move forward. Accept what is happening without complaint. Adapt your mindset to see the opportunity within the struggle. Advance forward with the knowledge that every hardship is training for something greater. The world is chaotic, unpredictable, and full of challenges, but Marcus Aurelius knew that a calm mind, a disciplined will, and a strong character could withstand anything. The only question is, will you train your mind the same way? Section 5. The Legacy of a Stoic Emperor. Marcus Aurelius never sought greatness. He never saw himself as a man destined for power. And yet, over 1800 years later, his words still guide those searching for strength, clarity, and wisdom. Unlike the tyrants and conquerors whose names have faded into history, Marcus Aurelius is remembered not for what he took, but for what he mastered, his own mind. His reign was not peaceful. His life was not easy. He ruled through war, plague, betrayal, and personal loss. And yet, through it all, he never allowed himself to become bitter, arrogant, or broken by circumstances. He understood what few rulers ever did. You cannot control fate, but you can control how you meet it. This is the essence of the Stoic mindset. The ability to remain calm when everything around you is uncertain. The discipline to control your emotions rather than letting them control you. The wisdom to see obstacles as challenges rather than as setbacks. These lessons are not just for emperors. They are for anyone who wants to live with strength, purpose, and resilience in an unpredictable world. The challenges Marcus Aurelius faced are not so different from our own. We all deal with uncertainty, criticism, disappointment, and hardship. But his example reminds us that no matter how difficult life becomes, we always have control over one thing, ourselves. So the next time you face adversity, the next time you feel overwhelmed by the weight of life's burdens, ask yourself, what would a Stoic emperor do? Because the answer to that question may just change the way you see the world, and more importantly, the way you see yourself. If you want to develop this mindset, don't just admire Stoicism, practice it. Let these principles shape the way you think, the way you react, and the way you lead your own life. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius was not meant to be studied. It was meant to be lived. Like, subscribe, and ring the notification for more ancient wisdom. And check out the reading list in the description if you want to learn more about Stoicism. Until next time, stay stoic.